of the call for local government autonomy to rest, the Supreme Court judgment on the matter is raising more issues, and one of these is the conduct of council elections. The coalition of united political parties has cautioned against a bill seeking establishment of the National Independent Local Government Electoral Commission, which is before the National Assembly. And according to the group, the bill will lead to erosion of the principles of constitutional federalism that the country is operating if finally passed into law. Their spokesperson, Mark Adebayo, noted that the bill aligns with the call to remove local government from the grips of state governors, making council elections a federal government affair is absolutely unhealthy for federalism. The bill, titled Local Government Independent Electoral Commission Bill 2024, which has scaled first reading in the Senate and sponsored by Chairman of the Committee on Finance, Senator Sani Musa, is seeking establishment of the body that will be saddled with the responsibility of conducting elections for 774 local government areas in the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Mayor, when the Supreme Court gave the verdict that the local government is autonomous, everyone was happy, but except for some governors, they felt that their control has been taken out and it's not good for federalism. If you're going to give true federal character, it should apply in all ramifications. But first of all, what are your thoughts on the concerns that the federal government might usurp the local government if this local government elections, or commissions rather, electoral commission is created? I
don't agree with an electoral commission for local governments, and I'll tell you why.
Right.
I agree absolutely that the local government should collect their funds directly from the federal account, because we've seen that a lot of governors just collect the money and just give them something. And then our local government not doing what they're supposed to be, the government nearest to the people,
right,
and they're supposed to be able to see the needs of the people and all that. But they don't have enough funds to do that because there are some governors. In some states, they don't have that kind of problem, like Lagos. They don't have that kind of problem. But in a lot of states, the governors will just take the money and just give them party sum. So I agree absolutely with the Supreme Court judgment that the funds should go directly to local government. But why I don't agree with an agency conducting elections in local government is that it's either we are a federation or we are not. You understand? It's either we are a federation or we are not. So each state, as independent government of their own in the federation, should be able to organize election within their purview, within their area of influence. You understand? By allowing the federal government to determine that we are no longer party federalism but a unitary system. Because the federal government should not determine what should be done in my state. There's an electoral body that will do federal elections. Let that electoral body stick to that federal election. Because we are going to, if you look at, if you want, we will say we are part of federalism, we are doing presidential system of government. The America that introduced this presidential system of government, every election there is localized. Every election is localized. So you cannot ask the federal government to come and conduct election in my state. That, to me, is not right. So the funding is different. The funding is different because let the money go through to the local government so that they can, because they are entitled, that is what the law says, that they are entitled to that money. And the Supreme Court has confirmed that. I don't have any problem with that. But I have a problem with the federal agency organizing election in the state. I agree that the election in the state is more or less a sham. You understand? Because when the ruling party in that state, because they are the one conducting the election, they will just win all the states. You understand? I understand that. But we cannot throw the baby with the bathwater. We cannot say that, oh, because there is a problem in the way it is organized, then let's come and take over and do that for you. I don't think that's federalism. That's my position.
BK, what's your position on this? Do you agree with me?
I'm tired of states organizing sham local government elections. Most times there's no election, they just simply write the figures. They write the figures. It is not easy to write figures in an INEC-conducted elections. Not even now. It's a lot more difficult now. That's why politicians have now found a way to bribe their way to victory. Focus is now on vote buying because they know that the capacity to rig has gone down with the advent of card reader and what's this one called? So, Beavers. I would support INEC organizing local government elections. In fact, there is a lot of demand for that from people who are frustrated about the fact that governors simply put their own people there and write the figures. I was reading what one of the big politicians in Rivers State was saying, that during Rotimi Amechi's time that he was in his office when they wrote the figures. So this is what they do.
Okay.
I do not support setting up a separate electoral body simply for local government elections. Okay. I believe that INEC can be further empowered to conduct those elections, and those elections don't have to be conducted during the time of our general elections. You get the point that I'm making? Mm-hmm. Because if you conduct local government elections during the general election, it will become so difficult for INEC to cope. But during the off-season, INEC can conduct local government elections. In any case, those local government elections don't terminate, their tenures don't even terminate at the same time. And so, Oshomole was the first person to really shout about the need to stop the nonsense called local government elections, because they simply write figures. And he's been a governor before, at least he knows a lot about these things. So I support having credible elections at that local level. And I believe that the big step to having credible elections at local government level is to get INEC involved. People will say, it's a lot of work. But my suggestion is it shouldn't be at the time when they are doing those local government elections. I mean, doing general election. After the general election, you have a freedom, or you have a space of 4 years to play with, except for by-elections and all that. INEC won't be busy until 4 years. Whereas in America, they do elections, they do midterm elections, they do general election as well, and elections at county level. So I believe that the whole idea is they want credibility in terms of the local government election. I support the idea, but setting up an agency purely to conduct election for local governments and creating fresh bureaucracy as a result is not what I will support. This is a bill, it's still a bill. I believe that the president should not give assent to this kind of bill. The president can strengthen the INEC, expand the frontiers of INEC, strengthen it in terms of capacity, in terms of manpower, to be able to conduct local government elections. We can't continue with the nonsense that governors are doing. Just sit down, just write people's names, and you call that an election. People have given up. You see that most parties, opposition parties, say, no, we are not interested. They always boycott the local government elections because they know that the outcome is usually predetermined. So let's move away from that ugly era and have an era of credible elections at local government level, especially now that they have their financial autonomy.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't simply be just governors writing, no. Let's have credible elections, and I support INEC to conduct the election.
Yeah, and in terms of being strengthening the electoral institutions now, talking about INEC, what would you propose as a strategy that the federal government needs to adopt? Because these electoral institution, talking of INEC, will still be under the purview perhaps of the state, of the federal government. But what do you think can be done to strengthen the institution of INEC so that we can have...
No, INEC as presently constituted I think is okay. They more or less have their autonomy. They decide a lot of things. Apart from laws that members of National Assembly, maybe electoral laws that National Assembly, they have their modus operandi is determined by them. by the agency. So I think they are strong enough, provided what we just need to do is retraining of their staff, trying to invest more in technology, so that, because we've seen that Beavers has been able to change like a game changer. So when they invest in things like that, the only thing is the funding to INEC. If they have proper funding and training of their staff, invest more in technology, I think they are okay the way they are. That's what I think, that they are okay the way they are.
You know, but they have issues of credibility whenever the elections are being conducted. So that is always...
No, but if you look at it, they've done reasonably well. It's just that politicians will always complain. Yes. Politicians will always complain. And it's these same politicians, because what do you expect from them? They'll be able to introduce technology so that to make it difficult for people to be able to rig elections. But we have to agree that we have moved beyond what we used to do. What we used to do, people don't vote. After people finish voting, some people will sit down and write results. Yes. That's what they do. Now you have to now go to the field and try to win election. So it's a step forward. I'm not saying they're perfect, but most of the stories we hear about them is saw grapes. So if a politician loses an election, they will complain, yes. All
right, I understand we have a call. Al-Hassan, please quickly go ahead with your contribution.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Babajide, sorry, I'm taking you a little bit back, because my contribution is actually on Dangote refinery. Nigerians should know that Dangote, and take Dangote as a pride of Nigeria to the world. So whatever it is that Dangote needs is what Nigeria or Nigerians should give him. Anybody becoming careless the way Farouk became careless, I think there should be consequences for such action. That is on Dangote refinery. On the CUPP asking for polls to the state. My own thinking to this, my own opinion is the EFCC should increase its operational staff. Chairmen of local government do not have immunity, so will not wait for 2 or 4 years before they are arrested. Every local government, EFCC should have a staff that looks into the books of every local government at least quarterly. Ask them questions. These monies have come into your account. What did you do with it? They can arrest them. They don't have immunity. I think that is where, if they do it once, if the governor is colluding with the chairman to spend the money, if they do it once, lock him up, take him to court, the governors will be calling chairman to come and contest, and they won't, unless we get it right. Once they do once, twice, EFCC should be on top of its game on our local government funding. Ask them questions quarterly, 2 months or 3 months. Give account of monies you have spent in the last 3 months. If the governor says you should take it back to him, give us evidence that you've taken back the monies to the government. When we do this, within 3 quarters, we'll get it right. Thank you so much, Babajide.
Thank you so much, Al-Hassan, for your contribution. Babajide, we know we just heard, he's more passionate about the things that happens in our country, Nigeria, and he's also touched on what the government needs to do to ensure transparency in our local government. But what's your position with what he just added on this very...
Yes, I agree, because once funding to local governments improve, because governors are a big impediment to proper funding of local governments, they will not admit it. But in their hearts, a lot of them know that they've been spending local government funds. I know former governors who were put on trial and were investigated on account of that. And these council chairmen cannot even argue with them. You can't look at a governor in the face and say, why have you touched
We'll remove you now.
My money? He will suspend you.
And
the Supreme Court has said you have no power to remove a local government chairman elected by the people. They tell these governors, but they still use the power. They believe, okay, before you go to court, time will have gone, they will have taught you a lesson. So now that there will be improved funding, we expect to see a lot more work being done by this council chairman. A lot more projects, big projects, big signature projects being embarked upon by them, because some of them earn a lot. Big local government, they earn a lot of money.
And more transparency too.
So, yes, of course, there has to be transparency, you know. And this is not an opportunity for them to simply believe that, okay, they have arrived and not work for the people. If we get governance right at local government level, frankly, more Nigerians will be touched. It will have great impact on the ordinary Nigerian. All of these palliatives that we are talking about, all of these inner city roads, these are things that local governments can do.
Yes.
Local governments can do it. I saw Chidi Lloyd as local government chairman of Emohua in Rivers State. I saw roads that he completed. And I saw other projects, the doctors' quarters that he built. That's a local government. But when you look around, it's difficult to even see local government chairmen doing any significant projects. Most of the time, governors claim that, we sit with local governments, we agree on a project that we will jointly fund. Come on. Take your money, let them take their own.
Right.
So now, the NGOs should know that it is their duty to ensure transparency at that tier of government. They should put more eyes now on local governments. Once they begin to conduct their elections and they begin to receive money directly from the federation account. In fact, I learned that they are going to enroll this local government chairman on TSA now, so that they can get their money direct from the federation account, because in the past, finance commissioners of states
collect on behalf
were collecting all the money on behalf of state government. So things will improve, but we just have to take things one step
at a time. So, Mayor, final thoughts on this issue, because we're really going to...
Yes, I agree with the guy. Because the rot in local government is terrible. A lot of them don't do anything. They just collect the money and enjoy themselves in some part of the country. So it's important for us to look at them properly. They don't have immunity like governors. So EFCC should put a searchlight on them. If they know that they will pay, there are consequences for not doing what they are supposed to do for the people, better people, more quality people will come into that sphere of government. Because now, local government is just like a reward system within the political party. But we shouldn't do that. Now that they are going to have increased funding, then it is important for them to do things for the people. And then we must make sure that they're on their toes, so that those who do not do what they are supposed to do or use the money for something else will pay for what they have done. And if we do that, we will have a better local government. Because, like you said, a lot of things that they are supposed to do, they're not doing it. You will go to a street, you will see basic things that they can do, and it will not be done. Something, maybe just to
primary health care should be their responsibility. Primary health care.
Yeah, it's their responsibility, yes. And, all of them has health centers.
Yes. And
they can do more.
Payment of primary school teachers, salaries, and all that. All those little potholes that we see within our localities. These are things that they should be able
by the local government.
Yes, now you can't leave everything
in the hand of the state.
Yes.
Well, so much of a discussion we've had on today's edition of the program Journalist Hangout. I'd like to thank my guests, as usual, in the studio, Babajide Kolade Otitoju, and of course, Mayor Akinpelu. We appreciate your insights on the show this evening. And that's it on the program. Join us again tomorrow for another edition. You can also watch a repeat broadcast of the show tonight at 11. Join us again on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. We are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Esther Mapariola. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.